Hey, welcome back to the iSpooge Daily channel. It is an experimental alternative personal brand where I talk like a teenage girl and cry about my feelings, blah blah blah. Not really. But I offer perspective that is something like a skill stack of elite software engineer and someone who's been homeless for 5 years. That, it's a combination of views that you're not going to hear very often. So today's topic is, and not that there's a topic every day, but I need to get on here more. The topic is homelessness is a terminal disease, and I just put some thoughts in the description. So why do I need to come on here more? It's just because, like, in my day-to-day life, I literally don't talk with anyone like the normal person talks. Something like 1,600 or 16,000 words per day, and I talk like 10 words per week. So you can probably hear like how strained it is just for me to talk through my vocal cords. So I'm going to try to keep this to like 20 minutes. It'll definitely go a little bit over. But turns out that a good time to do this is like while I'm making breakfast or dinner. And that means I have something in the oven or on the stove for like 20 or 30 minutes. Right now, I'm set to go to the library for the day. It's looking pretty gray, so I'm going to see if it is going to lighten up a little bit or not. The thing is, when you're walking to the library with a computer in your backpack, it's not exactly the same as walking to, say, a grocery store to go to work in the rain where you don't have a computer in your backpack, right? Oh, well, just buy a rainproof backpack. That's the whole problem, right? You're so poor, you're something called destitute. It means you're beyond poverty. You just can't help yourself, right? So that is a major factor in homelessness being a terminal illness or terminal disease. Dis-ease, not at, outside of ease. So I've been in both homelessness and domestic abuse situations, and a lot of people stay in domestic abuse because homelessness is their only alternative. Oh, well, what about shelters? So if you're a woman, especially with a child, you may have a better shot at shelters, although you gotta wonder how many predators work in that system to begin with, right? Like, people are sort of coming to see that Child Protective Services is almost child trafficking cover in some cases, right? So is it a choice for people to be homeless, right? That's a big thing that one of my old bros, who's not my bro anymore, unfortunately, accused me of, is choosing to be homeless. In some sense, homelessness is what's the word? You're predestined, you're predisposed to homelessness when you're born. Why? 90% of homeless people are fatherless. So fatherless could be absent father, derelict father, not paying child support, etc., etc. Product of a one-night stand, never knew the father, whatever. So probably a step worse than fatherlessness is having a predatory father. So for women, it may be, your father sexually abuses you. For men, it may be your father, it would be more economic, I think, I mean, obviously, fathers can sexually abuse their sons as well, but it would be more like a narcissistic father or parent will say that, you know, they'll make it easy for their kid. They'll teach their kid no life skills, and then they'll talk to people like their child is lazy or their child doesn't want to learn or things like that, right? So that's as damaging to a man's reputation and career as suffering sexual abuses to a woman's chastity and innocence, right? So, you know, there's fatherlessness, and then there's having a predatory father. So, for example, people who say that they made it from nothing, you know, working a flea market, providing for their family since they were a kid. Well, if you have a family who cares about you and there's reciprocal support, maybe you help them financially, but they you know, give you quality food and wisdom and help connect you with opportunities for work and things like that. That's not starting from nothing. That's starting from no money. That's not starting from nothing. And in a sense, starting from nothing, you know, just thinking about one-dimensional setup, you've got +1, -1, and 0. So starting from nothing is 0, starting from something is 1, positive, and starting from a predatory parent is -1. So they're, you know, if they're a narcissist, they're predatory for something. You know, it could be, you know, the father sexually assaults. It could be he, you know, uses the kid to make himself look like a victim. Oh yeah, you know, I'm such a great dad, but, you know, they're just so ungrateful. They don't do anything. They're so lazy. They don't know anything. They can't learn anything. They don't want to. All they want to do is play video games and watch TV. Oh, boo-hoo. Oh, drinking buddy. Oh, let me buy you a drink. You're such a good dad and your kids are so bad. You know, like, that, people get off on getting that kind of sympathy, right? So, you know, that would be like the predatory, not even starting from nothing, but starting from a predatory parent. So, you know, if someone leaves that, are they choosing to be homeless, or are they choosing to start from nothing, where at least they're not in a predatory environment, right? So can one really blame someone for choosing to leave that and go choose to be homeless, right? You know, there's the huge there's reunification. People are like, oh, the homeless person won't just go reunify with their family, and then it's like the family's going to be saying, oh, they're such a good oh, we're so good, we're so supportive, oh, he's just mentally ill, oh, he just doesn't want to live under the rules, like, he just, you know, I'm so military and he's just such a little hippie, you know. Needs to learn some discipline. But, you know, anytime a parent is criticizing their child, where did the child get it, right? Like, you always have to be skeptical of a parent who is, you know, talking about their child abandoning them. Because that's, like, evolutionarily, that's, like, the most absurd thing. Like, it's so ridiculously painful to choose to go no contact with a parent. Like, it goes against every single instinct in your body. So to choose that, yes, the person would be all kinds of mentally ill and screwed up if they weren't leaving a predatory environment. And do you think that demons really walk around with horns, stinking, you know, when I say demons, I'm talking about what's inhabiting these abusive people. Do you really think they walk around looking extremely predatory and scary? No, these are people who are respected in their community. They probably, you know, give financial support to their family a lot. Like, they're people who nobody is going to ask accountability of, and that's why they do it. They do it behind closed doors. So as a product of narcissistic abuse, escaping accountability. That's basically, what I'm talking about is like, if you're even in the same city as your narcissistic parents who have probably embedded themselves all over the city, they might even go volunteer at homeless shelters if they know that, that's your escape route. And so why wouldn't they give themselves a good name at every point of escape? So you almost have to become a vagrant or, leave your city, go somewhere where nobody knows you. Yeah, this is getting extremely hard with the internet and, just universal databases. Like, everywhere you go to work is going to want you to do like a personality assessment and a background check that's going to like dig up all kinds of stuff. Like, even if, good Lord, it's good. It sounds great. It sounds virtuous. It's like, good. We don't want people who, there are various reasons people might omit positions on a resume, for example. Like, it could be that they worked in the town with the narcissistic relatives. The narcissistic relatives came and poisoned their workplace. And then, there are any number of situations that could be made up. I don't want to spend time making one up, but there are good reasons why people might say omit a position on a resume, and then it later is found out that they omitted the position. They might have gone through the interview and now the background check comes back and says, oh, because background checks show everywhere that you worked. Depending on the type of background check it is, it'll show all that stuff. So you can't just, even though you need to just go, you have a better shot of starting from nothing if you leave and go to a different city, but still, given information technology, you're not starting from nothing really. And everyone would say, oh, that's a good thing. We don't want liars, cheats, crooks, etc., in our workplace. So there's really no arguing these points. And that kind of goes along with homelessness as a terminal disease. Because, like, everything... Like, abusers use every system, right? So every system that can be weaponized against the person that they're abusing will be weaponized. And so this means, the more systems we put into place to help stop lies, cheats, criminals, etc., from being near honest, good, hardworking people, the more of a gap there's going to be for homeless people who are literally just survivors and escapees of these various types of abuses, be it from families or employers. The whole scapegoating situation, the whole envy situation. There are any number of reasons why one would weaponize these systems against, and even just simply escaping accountability. There are any number of reasons why someone would weaponize these systems, and they're in trusted positions, and so their word has weight that's going to go without scrutiny, like, unless it becomes an extreme pattern of behavior. But once it becomes an extreme pattern of behavior, then, say, companies who they're employed for have even more incentive to cover their bad behavior because they didn't do their due diligence checking their use of their levers of power, right? So, and then just straight up first impressions, like, if you apply to a job and your address is general delivery at a post office, or, if they don't even let you submit the form without a phone number and address, right? So if you don't have a phone number, or, they call you and you don't answer because, say, like for me, now I have a Google Voice number, still no cell phone, but you need a cell phone to get a Google Voice number. So I didn't have a cell phone for a long time. I couldn't get a Google Voice number for a long time, right? So, and then, you know, there's the inherent distrust of homeless people. So one thing I was thinking is, you know, can I ask someone to use their phone number to verify their Google Voice, to verify like a Google Voice number or something like that? And most people would say no, I think. But anyway, the solution I found was a Mint Mobile 7-day trial. And my phone, if I replace the battery, I would have a phone, but as it is, it'll stay on for like 2 or 3 minutes. So it's like just long enough to install the Mint Mobile app, tap activate, and like while it was waiting to activate, the phone shut off, right? So thankfully I was able to turn the phone back on, go back into the app, and it, you know, it didn't screw anything up. So, you know, that's not wood, that's plastic, but anyway, so, you know, we talked in the last couple talks about red flags. So for me, my red flag was, you know, lawyers used my position. They committed perjury in doing this for OpenTable. And they, you know, they went through 2 different courts, 3 different attempts to get a workplace violence, you know, order to stick. And it stuck because the 3rd time was in a faraway court during pandemic. And like, really, I didn't have enough faith. Like, I was ready to go defend myself, but I was just like down to a few dollars. I didn't even know if I'd be able to get back to the city on the money that I had. I don't know how I would have done it, but anyway, because I would have had to get on the train, get like 50 miles away by 8 in the morning, and then get back. And it's, you know, like 12 or $16 train ride plus like a $3 or $4 local transit ride, and then I walk on the other end. So it's like, but anyway, so they knew that I was homeless. They knew that they could get away with lying to the court. They knew that, I mean, I can't say they knew about the pandemic coming, but probably the chances that I would defend myself and be able to do it successfully were so low that, you know, they got their wish. I'm scarred for life. You know, they gave me a nice brand where, you know, if I ever have any kind of dispute in court, this is going to come up. If I ever go for a position of local office or management or anything like that, this is going to come up, that I'm you know, guilty of workplace violence, 250-page complaint with their lies about I used to live in a tent, which I never have lived in a tent. But they did that so that they could, well, I can't say definitely why they did that, but their doing that made it possible for them to file in a faraway court, because they just said, oh, he lives in a tent nearby the court. Nice lies, you frickin' demons. And yes, everybody can repent and do the right thing, and I don't condemn anybody to hell. But people will be extremely evil to homeless people because they know they can get away with it, right? So, you know, probably getting, yeah, we're hitting, wow, this is actually shorter than I thought it would be. Can we get it under 20 minutes? That's 1 more minute. Probably not. So, yeah, just operating under constant duress, cultural acceptance of anti-homeless bigotry. Like, whenever I report something on Twitter, if I saw a homeless person ran them over, I'd just keep going. You know, basically calls to violence against homeless people to get them out of the city, you know, this kind of stuff. That never gets people in trouble on Twitter. So, finally, you know, survivorship bias. Housed and employed people are the greatest experts on homelessness, obviously, de facto experts. So, yeah, let's kill this under 20 minutes. So, thanks for joining. Feels good to get stuff off my chest and practice talking a little bit. And I'm always trying to find ways to organize my thoughts and resources better. So, till next time, have a good day. Bye.